Backslash voiceover script. Backslash emotional hook. First 30 seconds. Soft piano music fades in. Voiceover asterisk. Have you ever met a soul so broken, yet so determined to live? This is the story of a small, fragile kitten with only one eye, abandoned, forgotten, left to fend for herself in a world too cruel for such innocence. But what she lacked in sight, she made up for with something far greater. A dream to be loved, a dream to belong. And what happened next will stay with you forever. Piano fades gently into background. Voiceover asterisk. It was a cold Tuesday morning in late November. The sky hung heavy with clouds, and the wind bit at the skin like tiny needles. In a quiet alley behind a row of forgotten shops, something moved. Something small. Something barely breathing. Huddled beneath a torn piece of cardboard lay a kitten. No more than 4 weeks old. Wet. Shivering. Alone. She was barely recognizable as a cat, her fur matted with dirt, a gash above her brow swollen shut. But it was her left eye that told the real story. Or rather, the absence of it. Just a deep, hollow space where it once had been. No one knew how she had gotten there. Some said she was born feral. Others believed she had once been loved, only to be discarded like yesterday's trash. But none of that mattered now, because every breath she took was a battle, and every heartbeat a miracle. Just down the street, a woman named Claire was finishing her morning shift at the bakery. Claire wasn't the kind of person who drew attention. She lived alone, worked quietly, and had a heart far bigger than her smile ever let on. As she locked the shop and turned to leave, something made her stop. A sound. Faint. Like a whimper. A broken meow. She turned her head, eyes scanning the alleyway. Nothing. Just shadows. But there it was again. Meow. Claire slowly stepped toward the sound, her breath catching as she spotted the little bundle beneath the cardboard. "Oh my God," she whispered, kneeling beside the kitten. Hey, it's okay. You're okay now." She reached out gently. The kitten didn't flinch. She was too weak. Claire's hands trembled as she scooped the little creature into her arms. The kitten weighed almost nothing. Her body was ice cold. "I've got you, baby. I'm taking you home." Back in her tiny apartment, Claire wrapped the kitten in a warm towel and held her close to her chest. "We need a name for you, don't we?" she whispered. The kitten let out a faint sigh, as if in response. "How about Luna?" Claire smiled sadly. "Like the moon. Even in the darkest skies, she still shines." That night was filled with uncertainty. Luna wouldn't eat. Her breathing was shallow. Claire barely slept, waking every hour to check her heartbeat, to whisper soft words of hope into the night. "You're not alone anymore, sweet girl. You hear me? You're safe. And I promise, I won't give up on you." The next morning, the vet's face told Claire everything she feared. "She's very malnourished, dehydrated, and the eye injury, it's old, likely infected." Claire nodded, tears already welling. "But she'll live." The vet hesitated. "It's a long road, but if anyone can fight, it's a kitten who's already made it this far." And fight she did. Each day, Luna grew stronger. She began to purr softly when Claire entered the room. She learned to eat from a tiny spoon, and though her depth perception was poor, she tried again and again, determined to master it. Claire would laugh through her tears, cheering her on like a proud parent. "That's it, baby girl. You're doing it. You're a warrior." But not everything healed so quickly. Luna was terrified of sudden sounds. She would cower in corners when someone knocked on the door. And she refused to be left alone in a dark room. There were nights when Claire would find her pacing in circles, her tiny chest heaving with silent panic. One night, Claire curled beside her on the floor. "Whatever happened to you before, it wasn't your fault. You hear me? You didn't deserve it." Luna looked up at her with that single golden eye. And in that moment, something shifted. She crawled into Claire's arms, tucked her head beneath her chin, and let out the deepest, longest purr Claire had ever heard. 2 months passed. Luna had transformed. Gone was the trembling shell of a kitten. In her place stood a curious, playful, mischievous little spirit who followed Claire from room to room. She had learned to chase toys, to climb furniture with surprising grace, and even to sneak treats from the counter when she thought no one was looking. But perhaps her biggest change was her heart. She had learned to trust, to love, to dream. And she wasn't done yet, because Luna had one more adventure ahead of her. And it would change both their lives. Forever. Soft music rises slightly. Backslash, to be continued in part 2. Soft background music begins, hopeful and soft. Voiceover asterisk. Spring had just begun to touch the corners of the city with its gentle light. The trees were waking, blossoms starting to bud, and Luna was ready to see the world beyond the apartment walls. Claire opened the window one morning and laughed. "Smells like sunshine today, Luna. What do you say? Ready for a new adventure?" Luna perked up, her one golden eye bright with curiosity. She jumped down from her favorite perch and padded to the door. Claire had found a small harness that fit Luna just right. They had practiced in the apartment. At first Luna resisted, confused and a little afraid. But over time, she began to associate the harness with something new with hope. That morning, Claire carefully clipped the leash, knelt down, and whispered, "You can do this, girl. Let the world see how brave you are." Their first steps outside were slow. Every car, every gust of wind, every passing footstep made Luna freeze. "It's okay," Claire soothed, crouching low. "I'm right here." And Luna took another step. Then another. Soon they made it to the tiny park near Claire's building. Birds chirped. Children laughed in the distance. Luna sniffed the grass, wide-eyed. She chased a leaf. She stared, mesmerized, at a butterfly fluttering above her head. Claire watched, tears in her eyes. "You're doing it, baby. Look at you." Luna rolled in the grass and meowed, loud and proud. For the first time in her life, she wasn't hiding in darkness. She was alive, free, brave. But this was just the beginning. One afternoon, a man approached Claire at the park. "Excuse me," he said, smiling kindly. "That's a beautiful cat. What's her name?" Claire told him. She told him everything. How she had found Luna, how the kitten had survived against all odds. The man listened closely. "I work with a small animal therapy group," he said. "We visit hospitals, senior homes, places where people need a little extra love. Have you ever thought about Luna doing something like that?" Claire blinked. "Therapy work? With Luna? I mean, she's amazing, but she's been through a lot." "Exactly," the man replied. "Sometimes the animals that have been hurt the most are the ones who can heal others." The idea stayed with Claire. That night, she sat beside Luna on the couch. "What do you think, girl? Want to be a little healer?" Luna looked up at her with that deep, knowing eye, then rested her head on Claire's lap. The answer was clear. Training began a week later. Luna was introduced to new smells, sounds, people. She wore a little vest that read "Therapy Cat in Training." It wasn't easy. Some days, Luna grew overwhelmed. But Claire never pushed. She was patient, gentle, and Luna learned. She learned to sit calmly on a hospital bed, letting wrinkled hands stroke her fur. She learned to curl beside children with cancer, offering comfort where words could not reach. She became a symbol of courage. A tiny warrior in a soft gray coat. People would ask, what happened to her eye? And Claire would always say, life tried to break her. But she chose to love instead. One chilly December day, Claire received a letter from the hospital. "We want Luna to be part of our official volunteer team. The patients ask for her by name. She's changing lives." Claire pressed the letter to her chest, overcome with emotion. "You did it, Luna," she whispered. "You did it." Luna sat beside her, tail curled neatly around her feet, and purred. Weeks later, at a children's hospice, Luna visited a boy named Theo. Theo hadn't spoken in days. The pain was too much. The nurses worried he was slipping away. But when Luna curled next to him, something happened. Theo opened his eyes. His hand slowly reached out, resting on Luna's back. And then he whispered, "She's like me. Broken, but still here." Claire turned away, wiping her tears. Later that evening, one of the nurses hugged Claire tight. You don't know what that moment meant. Luna gave him something none of us could. Luna was no longer just a rescue. She was a light, a miracle, a living reminder that no matter how dark your past, you can still choose to shine. Soft music swells gently. / to be continued in part 3. Soft emotional music begins, warm and steady. Voiceover *. The seasons turned once more. Spring faded into summer, and Luna's journey continued. Not as a survivor now, but as a symbol of strength, of love, and of second chances. Claire had started sharing Luna's story online. Photos, little updates, videos of Luna sitting beside patients, her golden eyes shimmering like hope itself. And to Claire's surprise, the world responded. Messages poured in from across the globe. I was going to give up today, but then I saw Luna. She made me believe in healing again. Tell her thank you. for reminding me that broken doesn't mean unworthy. Claire read every single one aloud to Luna, who would tilt her head as if she understood. Maybe she did, because Luna wasn't just inspiring the sick or the lonely anymore. She was reaching people who had never met her. People who had felt invisible, unloved, or abandoned. People who needed a reason to keep going. And somehow a one-eyed cat was giving it to them. One day, Luna received a small package in the mail. Inside was a handmade medallion that read, "To Luna, for bravery beyond measure." It came from a child in Scotland, a girl who had lost her leg in an accident and found courage again after watching Luna's videos. Claire held the medal up for Luna to see. "Look at this, girl. You're a hero now. Not just mine, but there's two." Luna stretched lazily, rolled over on her back, and let out a happy meow. Years passed. Luna grew older. Her fur silvered slightly. She moved a little slower, but her spirit remained fierce. The hospital staff threw her a small birthday party every year. Children painted her pictures. Elderly patients kept her photo by their bedsides. And Claire finally started to believe something she'd forgotten long ago. That love is never wasted. That sometimes the ones who are hardest to save end up saving us the most. One quiet evening, Claire and Luna sat on their usual windowsill, watching the stars. Claire whispered, "You changed my life, you know. I thought I was the one rescuing you. But really, it was you who rescued me." Luna purred softly, her golden eye catching the starlight, glowing like a tiny moon. Claire smiled. "You always did shine brightest in the dark." Soft music swells, then fades into calm silence. Voiceover, final reflection. We often look at broken things and see only their cracks. But sometimes those cracks are where the light gets in. Luna was never perfect. She was never whole. But she was loved. And that made all the difference. So, if you ever feel too broken, too far gone, or too lost to be found, remember Luna. Because even with one eye, she saw enough to believe in love. And that belief, it saved the world. End music swells one last time and gently fades out. / the end.